Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today is reveal day for our small scale build for the month of February. Before we get into it, I want to thank the people who put this on for us, that brought it to you. Uh, Sean, the Scale Model Car Guy channel. Thank you, Sean. And Brian, BG's Model Workshop. Thank you. They are our hosts for this, and I appreciate it. It was it was fun, a decent, little little departure from the 25th scale stuff, and it really did, for me. It was testing out my detail. Um, I don't know if you want to call it skills, but my ability to detail. I don't know about if I have skills. At any rate, thank you guys. This was a lot of fun, and the car that we picked out, the 71 Trans Am, is really cool. It's a neat little model, formerly the Monogram 71 Trans Am. Um, Atlantis is the company uh, building these now, or making them now, and very good company. I had a chance to interact with them. Um, as you guys know, if you follow along, the shaker hood scoop is not on this car. I lost it in a freak um, cleaning accident at the Deep Junk World headquarters. No one was injured. Alcohol was not involved, although it might be easier to swallow if it was. If it was, it sounds better that I was drunk and let it go down the drain, trying to clean it, than I was perfectly sober and didn't have a catch in the bottom of my sink. At any rate, I got on Atlantis' website, got with them right away, told them I had kit number so and so, I needed part 22 on the tree, give them the address. They sent me an invoice right back with the price of the part and shipping to my address. I paid it by PayPal, and they had it right out the door. Now, the U.S. Postal Service has been playing with it. They kicked it around in New York for 3 days before it went anywhere. The last I saw it, I'm recording this very early Sunday morning. It's actually late Saturday night, but after midnight, so the 27th, Sunday the 27th. The last I saw of it, Saturday, it was in Ohio, so there's a chance I can get it Monday. And if I do, we'll make a small video. We'll show it. But yeah, it could happen. I'm not betting. I'm not betting the farm on it. But anyway, Atlantis, good company. They're right on top of it. No problems there at all. So our car, 71 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am, um, of the Pontiacs, the Trans Ams, the second generation from 1970 to 81, had to be in my opinion, the best looking cars. They had lots of style, just loads of of style. Of course, everybody remembers the 77, made famous in Smokey and the Bandit. So 77 and 78 are popular cars. My favorite are these, the first of the second generation, the 70 to 73. They put these cars together in Norwood, Ohio, and Van Nuys, California. And I'm familiar with Norwood, Ohio, because of all the restoration stuff that I do on first gen Camaros. The Norwood plant, they made the F-body, the Camaro Firebird. They also did big cars, the Impala, or Biscayne Bel Air, Impala Caprice, the Nova, that little subframe platform like the Camaro. So that'd be like the Nova, Buick Apollo, Olds Omega, Pontiac Ventura, those kind of cars. UAW strikes throughout the 70s. They had one at the beginning of the 71 model year to put these cars together in September of 70, which lasted a couple months. So 71 Trans Am, there were only 2,116 of these cars built. I think 855 were manual transmissions, which that's the standard transmission then would have been the M22, and that would have sounded like a pissed off dump truck coming down the road with all the gear noise from a rock crusher transmission behind a 455 high output. Uh, had to have been a really cool car to drive, even with the lower compression that they put on the cars in 71. With that, the EPA coming down on them, they were rating horsepower net with all the accessories on a motor, the unleaded fuel, so you had lower compression, but they bumped it up to 455, and you had decent torque out of the car with that 4-speed behind it. Had to have been a fun ride. And again, these cars, the second gen Trans Ams, they didn't get the iconic Big Bird until 1973. So from 71 or 70 to 73, 70, 71, and 2 had the large stripe on them, which you could get without. But most of the cars were either white with blue, like this car, or Lucerne blue with a white stripe. In 1970, it was a really cool color combination. You could get, in 70, you could still get red interior, so you could get a white car with red interior and a blue stripe over it. And I've seen a couple of 70s done like that. They're really cool looking cars, in my opinion. The 77, like I said, in Smoking the Bandit, that was real popular. But before that, in 1974, I think January, the movie McHugh came out with John Wayne in it. You guys might remember that. He drove a Brewster Green 73 Trans Am Super Duty 455 powered car. It did not have the Big Bird on the hood, but he mercilessly beat that car throughout the movie, and it met its demise between two semis in an alley, which always brings a tear to my eye. Later in 74, Thunderbolt and Lightfoot come out. That had Jeff Bridges and Clint Eastwood in it. And in that movie, Jeff Bridges steals a 73 Trans Am from a used car lot. He wanders on the Pete's Dependable Used Cars and gets in a white-on-white Trans Am with a red shaker scoop, which I would take a red one at this point. Any shaker scoop's a good one when you don't have one. And he steals that car in the movie, and they beat it without mercy. Well, some pros and cons of the kit. I'm very particular or picky, and in my years of restoration, I've learned that, and I've heard other guys say it. Every part is its own job. So like a model car, I take that in the modeling. Every piece is its own job. It's its own kit. It's its own deal. So the starter isn't just black. The starter may have aluminum nose on it, and you solenoid detail. In a real car, right down to the wiper motor, we blow it apart, and these things have to be painted black. This might have to be plated. Or this other piece may be raw steel or raw aluminum. You do your homework, and every piece is its own. So building the car, the pros and cons of, especially in 1/32 scale, you learn that there's some things there's just not enough detail to. This kit does have, for a 32nd scale, I think, really good detail. But we'll start with the cons of it. Me being picky. Inside, if I can flash a picture of this, it's got detail window cranks on the door, but a power window switch on the console. Okay, so If you had power windows up where the crank was, you'd just have a blank in there with a bird logo in it, the Trans Am bird logo or Firebird logo. The shifter knob on it is wrong. It would be the black shifter knob. I may have a picture of that. But they've got a white 4-speed shifter knob, and if it were going by scale, that thing looks like it'd be about softball size. The heater box under the hood is for an AC car, for the evaporator core to fit into. Um, if it's an AC car, it doesn't have a compressor on the accessories, so it should just have a flat firewall. I don't know that Trans Am and 71, I don't know. By all the things that I've read, it looks like you get air conditioning on a standard shift 455 car. I don't know. I didn't look at it close enough. So, in either way, you have a AC box on the firewall without an AC compressor on the engine. Little things like that. The pros. The honeycomb wheels. The honeycomb wheels look real good. Right down to the Pontiac shield on the center cap. Those honeycomb wheels were introduced in 71. Those would have been a 15-inch on a Trans Am, or if you got the handling package on a Formula. Otherwise, you'd have had a 14-inch. And a honeycomb wheel, it was not aluminum. That was a polycast. It was a thing called neothane, made by Goodyear, and it's bonded right over a heavy steel wheel. So the aluminum wheels to have made this, the honeycomb, and that would have been expensive. These were relatively cheap to produce in a polycast. GM did it quite a bit. Oldsmobile had them at Delta 88. I remember Chevelle and Monte Carlo used a version. Chrysler had it on the Cordova, a polycast wheel. So it was popular to do that rather than make an aluminum wheel. Cheaper anyway. But those wheels are a good plus on this car. The decals are easy to apply. They look really good. Pay no attention to the lack of a hood scoop there. The decals are not real thin where they break or hard to use. They lay down nice, but they're not thick enough where they, stick up on the car and takes 6 or 7 coats of clear to bury them. So the decals are excellent. The interior, like the dashboard, the seat detail, marker lights, the Pontiac lettering back here between the tail lights themselves, that detail is excellent. Under the car, the floor pan detail, exhaust, that is exceptional. So all big, pros of the car. The side fender vents, all that, really good detail. So I think the pros far outweigh the cons in this case, especially in 1/32 scale. Under the hood, we did our Pontiac engine and Pontiac engine blue. It's got just the alternator and power steering up front on the accessories. Got our overflow bottle there next to the radiator, the booster and master cylinder detail. Threw a couple different shades of black in there, and little details on the firewall, some like factory markings. Underneath the car, we did the floor pan in the red oxide finish, correct for second gen Firebird, which I had to go back to school and learn. I thought these was done mostly black on the floors of these, but it's like a Ford product. They share that red oxide finish. Their drive shaft has got the markings on it when they spin balance the drive shaft, and they put the markings on. Same with the rear axle. Got a couple factory markings back there. I like to geek out on that kind of stuff. Their front subframe in black, the leaf springs in steel, did the exhaust, the tips, the very tip of the back there on the tailpipe, I did in the Molotov chrome. You can see that back there. That was an option to get the chrome tip on the tailpipe. Did that. Uh, Again, the Pontiac engine blue. The transmission's done up. Exhaust meets up real nice on this, goes together real good. There's a lot of 25th scale cars that don't do that. And then all the steering detail up front there, the tie rod ends in that. And the body itself is painted in Tamiya rattle can. It's pure white TS26. The interior is TS15 blue. I do have another color that matches the stripe, more of a lucerne blue. That's the only special color that I was going to use. That would be for the top of the shaker scoop to get it to blend in with that stripe. Just a flat aluminum color in those honeycomb wheels. Several different shades of black. You can take your pick, just as long as I like to just have contrasting shades so that everything's not the same. Of course, the MCW finishes, the carburetor green gold. You can see some of that carburetor does show up under the shaker scoop there. And let's see, the red oxide is just red oxide primer, and that is, hold on here guys, I got the can. That is to me a fine surfacer primer. Yep, just red oxide surface primer. So that's about it. There is no clear coat on the car. I did not clear coat it. It looks good the way it is. Like I said, I didn't have to bury the decals under a bunch of clear. They go on very nice. It looks good. For a small scale build, you put up on the shelf and look at it. It's got good detail and looks good. I'm very, very happy with it. Like I said, if I get the scoop come Monday, I'll get it put on and we'll try to get it up there by the midnight hour, and hopefully I don't lose the shop. Thanks guys for stopping and checking out the build. I hope everybody had a good time who was involved. I know I did, and if you're watching, there's a lot of cool cars to see. Thanks again to Sean and BG, and we will see you guys next time. Thank you.